To the Awakening, Black Women United. I am your host, Sherry Danny. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit the notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. Before I begin, let's have a word from our sponsor, Good Sumerians Academy. Please donate to the channel to help us grow at Cash App Dollar, Daniel0416, and zelcherie.danielle@yahoo.com. Thank you.
Register at Good Sumerians Academy today, www.goodsumeriansacademy.com, or call 464-200-8432 to register, i.e. goodsumeriansacademy@gmail.com. Take advantage of your school choice. Whether you love or hate President Trump, this is our new reality. Hold on to your textbooks, folks, because the American education system just got a serious shakeup. Whether you love or hate President Trump, this is our new reality. Hold on to your textbooks, folks, because the American education system just got a serious shakeup. President Trump, in a move bolder than a Sharpie outline of a hurricane's path, has signed an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education. Register at Good Sumerians Academy today, www.goodsumeriansacademy.com.
The Heavy Crown. A look at insecurities faced by Black women. Black women, strong and resilient, often carry a heavy crown. This crown, invisible to some, is laden with societal expectations and judgments. Centuries of stereotypes and biases build this weight. These pressures impact self-worth and identity. From a young age, Black girls navigate a world that devalues them. This essay explores the origins of these insecurities. We'll examine historical and modern forces impacting mental health and identity. This journey takes us through history's dark corridors. We'll also delve into the present, analyzing media, fashion, and workplaces. Understanding these roots is crucial for dismantling perpetuating systems. By shedding light, we spark a conversation about societal responsibility and change. Recognize Black women's strength and resilience, creating a world where their crowns are symbols of pride. It's time to dismantle structures that diminish Black women. By understanding the problem, we can create solutions. Let's build a world where Black women embrace their beauty, intelligence, and power. Join us in this critical discussion, advocating for a future where Black women are celebrated for their authentic selves. Rooted in history, how past traumas manifest as present-day insecurities. To understand the insecurities faced by Black women today, we must journey back in time. The legacy of slavery and segregation in America casts a long shadow. Black women were subjected to unimaginable cruelty and dehumanization. Stripped of their identities, their spirits crushed under oppression. This trauma reverberates through generations. Black women were often hypersexualized and objectified, denied education and opportunities, relegated to society's margins. This history shapes present-day insecurities. These wounds continue to shape Black women's experiences. The echoes of the past persist in stereotypes and microaggressions. Understanding this trauma is crucial. Acknowledge the impact to shape a better present. Dismantle systems perpetuating these insecurities. Empower Black women to embrace their full potential. Break the cycle of pain and create a world where Black women thrive. Society's mirror. Reflecting on the distorted images of Black womanhood. Imagine a funhouse mirror, twisting and distorting reflections. This is often how society portrays Black womanhood. Instead of celebrating the diversity and beauty of Black women, media often presents a narrow, often negative image. This distorted reflection contributes to a sense of insecurity, as Black women are bombarded with images that do not reflect their lived experiences. From movies and television shows to advertisements and social media, these portrayals often perpetuate harmful stereotypes. The angry Black woman trope, the hypersexualized Jezebel, and the strong, independent, but ultimately undesirable Sapphire are just a few examples of these damaging representations. These images, far from being harmless entertainment, have real-world consequences. These distorted images impact how Black women are perceived and treated by society. They also influence how Black women perceive themselves. Constantly bombarded with these negative portrayals, some Black women may internalize these messages, leading to feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and insecurity. It's time for society to hold up a mirror that reflects the true beauty, diversity, and strength of Black women. We need more positive and nuanced representations in media and advertising. It's time to dismantle the harmful stereotypes that fuel insecurity and replace them with images that empower and uplift. Let's work together to create a world where Black women see themselves reflected in all their glory, their beauty, and their power. Stolen legacy, the dehumanizing impact of slavery on Black feminine identity. Slavery inflicted deep wounds on Black women, stripping them of identity and self-expression. They were denied the right to define themselves, their femininity crushed. This legacy of dehumanization lingers, shaping perceptions and interactions. To heal, we must confront this painful past and its enduring impact. Branded and broken. The scars of objectification on Black women's bodies. Under the cruel gaze of slavery, Black women's bodies were treated as commodities, objects to be bought, sold, and exploited. This objectification, ingrained in the very fabric of the institution, left deep scars on their psyches, scars that continue to mark their descendants. The perception of Black women as inherently sexual beings, their bodies hypersexualized and fetishized, has its roots in this dark chapter. Imagine being told that your worth lies solely in your physical attributes, your intellect and spirit deemed insignificant. Picture being subjected to the invasive scrutiny of potential buyers, your body poked and prodded like livestock. This was the grim reality for countless Black women. Their bodies, sources of strength and resilience, were twisted into instruments of exploitation and shame. This legacy of objectification continues to haunt Black women today. From the hypersexualized images that permeate media to the fetishization of their physical features, the message remains the same. Their bodies are not their own. This constant scrutiny and objectification contribute to a sense of self-consciousness, fueling insecurity and eroding self-esteem. The hypersexualization of Black women is a direct line to the dehumanization of slavery. It's a painful reminder of the power dynamics that continue to shape their experiences. To dismantle these harmful perceptions, we must understand their origins and actively challenge their continued presence in our society. Segregation's shadow, separate and unequal treatment fueling insecurity. Though slavery officially ended in 1865, the oppression of Black people continued under the guise of Jim Crow laws. Segregation, a system designed to maintain white supremacy, relegated Black Americans to second-class citizenship. This separate but equal doctrine was anything but equal, denying Black people access to quality education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. For Black women, segregation was particularly insidious. Confined to the margins of society, they faced limited opportunities for advancement, their voices often silenced. This systemic inequality reinforced the notion that they were inferior, unworthy of the same rights and privileges as their white counterparts. Imagine seeing whites-only signs plastered across businesses, restaurants, and public spaces. Picture being denied entry to schools and universities simply because of the color of your skin. These were the daily realities for Black women during segregation. The message was clear: they were not welcome, their presence unwanted. This constant barrage of discrimination took a toll on their mental and emotional well-being. It fueled feelings of inadequacy, reinforcing the notion that they were somehow less than. The scars of segregation run deep, impacting generations of Black women and contributing to the insecurities they face today. Echoes in the present. How historical trauma manifests in modern Black womanhood. Historical traumas of slavery and segregation cast long shadows over Black women today. These events shape perceptions, opportunities, and self-perception. Intergenerational trauma contributes to insecurities faced by Black women. This trauma reveals itself as hyper-awareness of societal expectations and a need to prove oneself in predominantly white spaces. It can lead to internalized racism and self-doubt. Recognizing these insecurities as products of systemic oppression is crucial. Understanding the historical context helps dismantle these systems. Only then can Black women heal and embrace their full power. Hollywood, the dream factory, often produces nightmares for Black women. Instead of reflecting our multifaceted realities, movies often relegate us to the sidelines, casting us in stereotypical roles that reinforce harmful narratives. These portrayals, often steeped in historical biases, shape societal perceptions and impact how we see ourselves. Imagine a world where your stories are rarely told, your experiences deemed unworthy of the big screen. When we do appear in films, we are often confined to a narrow range of archetypes: the sassy sidekick, the devoted mammy, or the hypersexualized temptress. These caricatures, far from being harmless entertainment, perpetuate harmful stereotypes that have real-world consequences. The lack of diverse representation behind the camera further exacerbates the problem. With few Black women in positions of power in Hollywood, our stories are often told through a distorted lens, our voices muffled. This lack of control over our own narratives reinforces a sense of powerlessness and limits the range of experiences depicted on screen. The impact of these distorted portrayals is profound. Young Black girls, bombarded with images of themselves as sidekicks and stereotypes, internalize these messages, their dreams often confined by the limited roles they see reflected back at them. This lack of positive representation perpetuates a cycle of insecurity, limiting their aspirations and hindering their ability to envision themselves as the heroes of their own stories. Television, once a source of family entertainment, has become another battleground for accurate representation of Black women. Despite progress, harmful stereotypes and limited portrayals persist. These portrayals reinforce societal biases and insecurities. Imagine rarely seeing yourself in positions of power or complexity. Instead, you see the same tired tropes: the sassy best friend or the struggling single mother. These portrayals shape perceptions and perpetuate stereotypes. The lack of diversity among creators compounds the issue. Without diverse voices, stories are told through a narrow lens. This limits the range of stories and perpetuates misrepresentation. The consequences are far-reaching. Young Black girls may internalize these messages, believing their worth is tied to narrow definitions of beauty and behavior. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt, a diminished sense of self-worth. Advertising shapes perceptions and influences desires. For Black women, it perpetuates harmful beauty standards, commodifying our bodies. Skin lightening creams and hair relaxers send a clear message: Black beauty in its natural state is not good enough. The constant barrage of unattainable standards takes a toll on self-esteem. It's time for the advertising industry to embrace the diversity and beauty of Black women. The digital gaze of social media presents a double-edged sword for Black women. On one hand, it offers a platform for self-expression, allowing them to challenge stereotypes and celebrate their beauty. On the other hand, it can be a breeding ground for cyberbullying and colorism. Social media allows Black women to reclaim their narratives, showcasing their talents and resilience. However, this same space can also be a source of anxiety and insecurity. The pressure to present a picture-perfect life can be overwhelming. Black women on social media are often subjected to a disproportionate amount of criticism and abuse. It's crucial to remember that social media is often a highlight reel, not a reflection of real life. The fashion industry has a long and complicated history with Black women. Often positioned at the intersection of exploitation and empowerment, the industry has simultaneously celebrated and commodified Black beauty. From the scarcity of Black models on runways to the lack of diversity in design houses, the message has often been clear: Black beauty is still subject to a white-centric standard. On the one hand, there has been a push for greater inclusivity. However, this progress is often superficial. The fashion industry often profits from the very insecurities it helps to create. Skin lightening creams and hair relaxers are multi-billion-dollar industries. Without a seat at the table, Black voices are often silenced, their contributions marginalized. Colorism, an insidious form of discrimination based on skin tone, casts a long shadow within the Black community. Rooted in the legacy of slavery, colorism continues to impact the lives of Black women. This internalized hierarchy of hues can be particularly damaging. Imagine growing up in a world where your skin tone is a determining factor in how you are perceived. From casting calls that favor lighter-skinned actresses to social media algorithms, the message is clear. Not all Black beauty is created equal. The psychological impact of colorism on Black women can be profound. It can lead to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. This internalized colorism can manifest as a desire to lighten one's skin and a constant struggle to conform to unattainable beauty standards. Beyond the runway, the fashion industry's influence extends far beyond the glossy pages of magazines. For Black women, this influence can be particularly pervasive. From the lack of representation in advertising campaigns to the limited range of sizes available in mainstream stores, the message is clear. Black women are often relegated to the margins. Imagine walking into a store and struggling to find clothing that fits your body type or personal style. This is a common experience for many Black women. Black hair, in all its versatility, is often misunderstood and misrepresented in mainstream fashion. This lack of attention to detail reinforces the notion that Black beauty requires compromise. The impact of these microaggressions can be significant, leading to feelings of invisibility and otherness. Reclaiming the narrative, Black designers and models are challenging the status quo and redefining beauty on their own terms. Despite the challenges, they are building their own tables, creating spaces where Black beauty is celebrated. Imagine a fashion world where Black models are not just tokens of diversity, but the faces of major campaigns. From supermodels like Adut Akech to rising stars like Anak Yai, these women are paving the way for a more inclusive fashion industry. Black designers are also making their mark, infusing the industry with fresh perspectives. From established names like Tracy Reese to emerging talents like Christopher John Rogers, these designers are challenging the industry's Eurocentric norms. This movement towards greater representation is about empowerment. By showcasing the diversity of Black beauty, these creatives are challenging stereotypes and inspiring a new generation. The weight of the crown, mental health, a critical aspect of overall well-being, often takes a back seat in the face of persistent societal pressures. For Black women, prioritizing mental health becomes essential. The weight of societal expectations can take a toll, manifesting in various ways. This is the reality for many Black women who are often expected to be strong and resilient. This pressure to be strong can prevent Black women from acknowledging their own pain. The stigma surrounding mental health within the Black community can further exacerbate the issue. The lack of culturally competent mental health services also poses a significant barrier. This lack of access can lead to feelings of isolation and a reluctance to seek help. Internalized oppression occurs when individuals absorb and accept negative messages about their own group. For Black women, internalized oppression can manifest in various ways. Imagine a seed of doubt planted in your mind, slowly poisoning your perception of yourself. Black women may internalize negative messages, leading to a constant feeling of not being good enough. This can lead to a reluctance to embrace their natural hair texture or a desire to lighten their skin tone. It can also lead to imposter syndrome, a feeling of not belonging or deserving success. The impact of internalized oppression on Black women's mental health can be profound. Recognizing and addressing internalized oppression is crucial for Black women to heal and embrace their full potential. The pressure to conform to societal expectations can lead Black women to engage in masking and code switching. These survival mechanisms come at a cost, often leading to emotional exhaustion. Imagine putting on a mask every day to fit in or avoid judgment. This is the reality for many Black women who engage in masking and code switching. This constant effort to conform can be emotionally draining. The pressure to code switch can also limit Black women's career opportunities. The long-term impact of masking and code switching on Black women's mental health should not be underestimated. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and a sense of alienation from their true selves. In a world that often demands so much from them, Black women deserve spaces and practices that prioritize their mental and emotional well-being. Self-care is an act of resistance, a way to reclaim agency and nurture their minds, bodies, and spirits. From therapy and support groups to creative expression and spending time in nature, there are countless ways for Black women to prioritize their mental health. Imagine creating a sanctuary for yourself, a space where you can shed the weight of the world and simply be. For Black women, self-care can take many forms, from setting boundaries to engaging in activities that bring joy. Seeking therapy with a culturally competent therapist can provide a safe space to process trauma. Joining support groups with other Black women can foster a sense of community and shared experiences. By prioritizing self-care, Black women can challenge societal expectations and create space for vulnerability, healing, and self-love. The pursuit of professional success is often fraught with obstacles, but for Black women, these obstacles can feel insurmountable. Despite their qualifications, they often encounter a concrete ceiling, an invisible barrier built on systemic bias and discrimination. From hiring practices to a lack of mentorship, Black women are often relegated to the margins of professional spaces. Imagine entering a workplace where your presence is met with skepticism, your qualifications questioned, and your ideas dismissed. This is the reality for many Black women who navigate professional spaces where their competence is often doubted. The workplace should be a space where talent, hard work, and dedication are recognized and rewarded. However, Black women often navigate stereotypes and microaggressions that undermine their credibility and create persistent bias. These experiences chip away at their confidence, creating a sense of invisibility and disrespect. Constantly proving their worth in a biased environment is exhausting and leads to burnout. The emotional labor required to navigate these microaggressions should not be underestimated. In many workplaces, Black women often perform invisible labor, taking on tasks that are overlooked and undervalued. This includes mentoring colleagues, educating peers about racial bias, and advocating for change, often without recognition. This invisible labor can lead to burnout and feelings of being undervalued. It impacts their mental health and career advancement. The insecurities faced by Black women are the product of systemic oppression, societal conditioning, and cultural biases. From slavery to media stereotypes and workplace discrimination, Black women navigate a world that often seeks to define them by their perceived flaws. It is a collective responsibility to dismantle these systems, challenge harmful narratives, and create a world where Black women can embrace their full humanity. This requires addressing both overt and subtle marginalization, acknowledging trauma, and challenging Eurocentric beauty standards. It demands examining media, language, and biases, and using our privilege to advocate for change. Creating a just world for Black women requires empathy, believing their stories, and a collective effort to challenge the status quo. Let's have a word from our sponsor, Good Sumerians Academy. Please donate to the channel to help us grow at Cash App Dollar, Danielle0416, and zellsherry.danielle@yahoo.com. Thank you.
Register at Good Sumerians Academy today, www.goodsumeriansacademy.com. or call 464-200-8432 to register, i.e. goodsamaritans@gmail.com. Take advantage of your school choice. Whether you love or hate President Trump, this is our new reality. Hold on to your textbooks, folks, because the American education system just got a serious shakeup. Whether you love or hate President Trump, this is our new reality. Hold on to your textbooks, folks, because the American education system just got a serious shakeup. President Trump, in a move bolder than a Sharpie outline of a hurricane's path, has signed an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education. Register at Good Samaritans Academy today, www.goodsamaritans.academy.com.
The path to healing and empowerment for Black women begins with amplifying their voices and celebrating their resilience, creating spaces where they feel seen, heard, and valued, recognizing their strength and power, creating an inclusive world where all voices are valued, supporting Black-owned businesses and artists, advocating for economic justice and racial equity, challenging microaggressions, racism, and sexism, using our influence to create a just world, mentorship and sharing resources, creating a circle of support and guidance, paving the way for future generations. The journey requires constant vigilance and commitment, but it is a journey worth taking. In the liberation of Black women, we find liberation for all. Let us rise to the occasion and amplify their voices, creating a world where Black women shine, unburdened by societal expectations, empowered to embrace their full brilliance. This has been The Awakening. Black Women United. I am your host, Sherry Danny. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit the notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video.